Hey loves, and welcome back to my channel. It is Ijoma here, and in today's video we are going to learn how to make this dress with a twisted yoke. The front yoke has a twist around the neckline, so I used an Ankara fabric for this, and I used 5 yards of Ankara. Though you will not finish the 5 yards, but you will need at least 5 yards of Ankara. If you are using a Duchess fabric by 60, you should buy at least 4 yards so that you will not run out of fabric. So here is the Ankara fabric that I used. I have my complete 6 yards here. At the end of the day, I used about 5 yards. I have my Ankara, I have my scissors, I have my chalk, I have my marker and my tape. So we are going to do a little pattern drafting for this dress. If you want to get this dress the way it is on the thumbnail, you will have to do some pattern drafting because the front and the back are different. They are not the same, so you have to draft a pattern for you to get what you want. So I have 2 pattern paper here, one for the front and one for the back. We are going to start with the front pattern paper, and if you can see the back, I did not add any zipper allowance. This dress does not have a zipper. So here is the front pattern. I have my chest line, my bust point, and the full length. We don't need our waistline and hip line for now. We just need our chest line, our bust point. Then you can see what I have here. My neckline is 3 by 3, and I also drafted my armhole. The full length of this dress is 35 plus 1 inch, that is 36. So at my bust, I'm going to take my bust measurements plus 1 inch for ease. If your bust is 30, if your bust is 40 inches, you are going to make it 41 plus another 1 inch for seam allowance. So use your bust measurement for this. Mark your bust, add 1 inch for ease and 1 inch for seam allowance. So after marking our bust, we are going to draft a normal A-line shape, A-line dress for now. So from the bust point, you are going to mark your A shape. It depends on how full you want this A shape to be. And after marking this A shape, we are not going to curve the sides. Normally, after cutting an A-line dress, you can curve the side or slant the side a bit. But after cutting this one, do not slant the side, do not curve it. So I'll go ahead and cut off my armhole, my neckline, and my shoulder slant for now. So this is the front. We are done with the front for now. Let's keep it aside. Then over to the back. At the back part, I have my chest line here. I'm not doing the bust points line here. So I have my chest line. I'll take my bust measurement at my chest line. My bust plus 1 inch for ease plus another 1 inch for seam allowance. Then I will get my half length. This my half length is where the opening at the back will stop at. You know that the back has an opening, so that opening will stop at your half length. If you want, you can come up a bit. It depends on how high or how low you want your opening to be. So I'm going to mark a straight line there, and that is my waistline. So the front pattern and the back pattern are different. At the waistline, I will divide my waist by 4 plus 1 inch for seam allowance. Divide your waist by 4 plus 1 inch for seam allowance. We want the waist of the back to be fitted a bit so that that opening at the back will not be dropping low. You have to measure your waistline so that when you wear it, the neckline at the back will be fitted. So from there, you mark your A shape. You can see that the front and the back are not the same. The A shape of the front started from the bust area, while the A shape of the back started from the waist area. And we are still going to do some slashing and spreading for the back. So this is what we have at the end of the day. Now we are going to draft the yoke for the front and for the back. So here is the A-line for the front, and the other one is for the back. We are going to keep the back aside. We will start with the front yoke. So the front has a little overlap around the armhole area. If you check the yoke, it has a little overlap around the armhole area. So from the shoulder, you are going to determine where you want your neckline or the opening of the yoke to stop at, and I want it to stop at the chest line. Then the intersection they have will be at 5 inch or 4 inches. Like they are going to overlap each other at 5 inches. That is around the armhole. You can see where I marked a dot. So from there, I will curve the neckline of the main gown. The neckline of the main gown will start from the chest line and it will stop at that 5 inches that I marked around the armhole line. You can see the circular shape that I'm marking. This is for the main gown, the A-line gown. Then the neckline of the yoke as well will overlap this particular line that I marked here. So from the normal neckline, come down by like 2 inches or 2.5. Come down by 2 inches or 2.5 inches. Then from there, you make another curve for the keyhole neckline. You know, this dress has a twisted keyhole neckline. So from there, you are going to give it the shape of how you want them to overlap each other. So you can see how I marked that area. This is how they are going to overlap each other. I have gotten the shape that I want. The next thing that I will do is to introduce a new pattern paper so that I can trace out the keyhole neckline. So this is a new pattern paper and it is transparent. So if you place it on top, you can see what we have there, and make sure that the center lines are aligning. It is transparent. Then now I can go ahead and trace out the yoke area, the keyhole yoke. I'll trace out the normal 3x3 neckline. I'll trace out my shoulder slants. I'll trace out the keyhole neckline. You can see the keyhole neckline of the top. Then I'll trace out the armhole. You can see what I have now. I have drafted the shape of the upper yoke. So I'll label my yoke and I'll go ahead and cut out. So when you are sewing, remember to add your 1/2 inch seam allowance around this particular yoke. So after tracing out this keyhole neckline, I'm going to cut off the remaining one. You can see how I cut it. So if I place it on top, this is what we are going to have. And make sure that the necklines align. So that is all for the front for now. I am going to keep that aside and over to the back. So for the back, the neckline will stop at the waistline. You know, the neckline is very, very deep. So it will stop at the waistline. If you want to come up, you are okay. Then from the normal neckline, come down by 1.5. This is for our button allowance. It will have a button at the back. The back is not twisted. Then they will cross each other at 10 inches. From the shoulder, mark 10 inches. You can come down by 11 inches if you want. So they will overlap each other at 10 inches along the side of the gown. That is just a bit below the armhole. Then for the front yoke, you are going to mark how you want them to overlap. For the upper yoke, you are going to mark how you want them to align. So you can make it a round yoke or a V-shaped yoke. This one is a kind of round. If you want to make it V-shape, you can also give it a V-shape yoke. So after that, I'll place another transparent paper on top, and I'm going to trace out the yoke or the keyhole neckline of the back as well. So I am done tracing the lower neckline, my armhole, the side. I'll trace my shoulder slants, and I'll also trace the normal neckline. You can see what I have now. So this will make it very easy. Label your yoke, then you go ahead and cut off the neckline, the keyhole neckline, and the armhole. So after doing that, you are going to cut the lower neckline of the back. So after cutting, this is what you will have at the back. If you want to make the keyhole neckline a V shape, you can as well do that. So I had to make my back neckline deeper. Here is the fabric that I'll be using. I'll start cutting out my panels, the front and the back. So first of all, I am going to fold for my A-line for the front. So I am going to fold. This is what I have. And after that, I am going to cut the front part. I will cut the main dress and the yoke. So they will be folded at the center. Then I will cut my normal A-line shape. I'll also place my yoke. And remember, around the neckline of each of them, you are going to add 1/2 inch seam allowance for turning. You know, you are going to turn with a bias or with a facing. So along the neckline, do not forget to add your 1/2 inch. You can see I added 1/2 inch at the neckline of the main gown. Then for the keyhole neckline, I'm also going to add 1/2 inch seam allowance. So this is what I have at the end of the day. If I open it up, you will see what it looks like. So I'm going to open up this front panel. If I open it up, you will have a clear view of what we are going to have after sewing. So this 2 inches seam allowance that I came down by is what we are going to twist the yoke with. We are going to twist the yoke this way. So this is all for the front. I am going to open it very well. So this is it. If you twist the yoke, you will have something like this. You can see the gown is taking shape already. So for the back, I told you guys that we are going to do some slashing and spreading for the down part of this gown, like for the major dress. So I'm going to mark my straight lines. I'm going to mark my straight lines for the slashing. We are going to slash this A shape. The back of this dress will be fuller than the front. So I'm going to slash. Remember, I have folded my fabric. I will slash, but do not allow your scissors to cut the neckline, because the neckline will remain the same, so that when you wear it on your body, it will relax around your waistline. You will not have any space there. So I'll go ahead and spread this, my pattern paper, this way. Then after that, I will go ahead and cut. And while cutting, remember to add 1/2 inch seam allowance around the yoke area or the neckline area. So I'm going to cut the down. After cutting this down part, I'll go ahead and cut the side. Then we are going to cut our neckline, and when cutting, add 1/2 inch seam allowance. You can see what we have right now. So I'll label my pattern paper in case I want to use it again. I'll keep that aside. So this is for the yoke. For the back, I'm going to keep my fabric on fold, then I will cut. So remember that the back yoke will have a button. You have 2 pieces. The back yoke will be a 2-piece yoke because you're going to fix a button at the center. They are going to overlap each other. So around the button allowance, I will come out by 1 inch for the overlap. You come out by 1 inch around the button allowance area. Then you cut your yoke, add your 1/2 inch seam allowance also around the keyhole neckline. So after cutting this, and this is my back, I have opened up my back. So if you place your yoke, you can see the shape that we have already. You can see the open area at the back. You can see how beautiful this looks. So that is all for the back for now. Then remember, our yoke, we are going to turn them with the main fabric. You are going to use the main fabric to turn your yoke so that it will have a very neat finishing. If you want to use a bias, that is okay. But for the top, the front, you must cut it with the main fabric so that when you twist, all of them will be looking okay, and all of them we have the right side of the fabric. So this is the lining for the yoke of the back. Then I also cut out a lining for the yoke of the front. This front part is very important. Cut your lining with the main fabric so that when you twist, you will have the right side of the fabric everywhere. So this is what we have, and we are going to turn all of them. So if I separate, this is what I have, the front and the back. So that is all for the yoke area. For the sleeve, we are going to cut a flay sleeve, or you can cut an A-line sleeve. But I want my sleeve to be flay. I'll fold my fabric twice so that I can cut the both sleeve at the same time. I have done my first folding, and I'll go ahead and do a triangular flay. This is my triangular flay. I will cut my armhole. Then from the armhole, I will get the full length of this sleeve. So if your normal sleeve length is 24, make it 26 or 27 so that it will be very, very long. Then I will mark my full length. And after marking my full length, you go ahead and cut out. This is just a basic flare sleeve or A-line sleeve. After cutting it out, I'll give it the normal shape that I want it to have. So you can see what I have right now. If I open it up, this is what you will get. So we'll keep that aside. I have turned my yoke. This is the yoke for the front, and I have also used a bias to turn the main gown. I used a bias to turn it. So now I am going to twist my yoke. I'm going to twist my yoke, and after twisting it, I will place it on top of my gown. I've done the twist. Just twist it once, then you go ahead and pin. Just go ahead and pin. So after pinning, this is what you will have. And you can go ahead and run a stitch around the yoke area so that they will not shift. This is really, really important. So that is it for the front. For the back, I am done turning my neckline with a bias and the down part also. Then this is the yoke. I am done turning the yoke with their lining. Then I'm going to place two of them this way. So place them and pin down. After pinning down, you can run a stitch on it. So just go ahead and pin down. After pinning, you can run a stitch on it. Then after doing this, you are going to shape the front and the back. Just place the front panel on the back. You will join them at the shoulder, and then you will shape the side. Just go ahead and shape. So after shaping, you can iron the side or you can leave them. Then right now I am done shaping, and this is what I have. I'll go ahead and turn out this gown. I'll turn to the right side, and after turning to the right side, I'll trim my armhole a bit. You can iron before doing all these things so that you will not make any mistake while trimming your armhole. So I'll go ahead and trim my armhole. After trimming the armhole, I will fix my sleeve. So guys, that is all for this gown. Remember to fix your button at the back. So registration for our April online class is ongoing. Please, you can start registering. You can chat me on Instagram at sewwithijoma. You can also send your style request to me on Instagram. So guys, at the end of the day, this is what I have. I'll go ahead and trim my armhole. The armhole should be a bit free so that you will feel free while wearing the gown. So after trimming the armhole, I will fix my button. If you have a button, just go ahead and fix your button and your sleeve. So this is the right sleeve. And we also fix the other sleeve. So this is our right sleeve. This is what we have. You can see the A shape. And at the end of the day, this is our gown. I hope this gown is beautiful. If you use a duchess for this, it will be more beautiful. So do not forget to subscribe and give this video a thumbs up so that more people can get to see this video. Also click on the notification bell so that whenever I upload, you'll be the first to get notified. I'll upload the sewing video of our former tutorial tomorrow. I will upload that for sure. So thank you guys, and see you all in my next video. Bye.